monkeypox because I will go on a fucking rant this morning about vaccines and monkeypox and shit, and I just don't want to get us flagged. I was just in a bad mood, and I started reading that shit about the Comicsgate stuff and started looking, and I was like, is this Turkey Master? I was like, what does he mean, a hate group? And I started actually Googling that to find out what the hell they mean. And just because it's right, and I was like, I was so pissed off. I was like, oh, we don't need to talk about this or I'll go off. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know he was going to respond. I was just like, are you going to throw like a thing like this is a hate group and like no evidence or whatever? And I'm like,
yeah, they're just saying it's a hate group because it's freaking,
who?
Yeah.
Against hate against who?
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't hate the customer. That's the problem. All right. Good morning, everybody. Well, nobody's here yet, but for those,
I didn't know we were live.
Well, we are now.
Oh.
Good morning, everybody. That's Deacon. I'm JJW, and this is Your Two Dads. We get up every morning we are cornering the market on 6:30 in the morning with two dads talking about news, politics, culture, pop culture, and other stuff. And this morning, yesterday I put out one of the YouTube shorts. I put out a YouTube short. So the top story of the day is going to be, let's say the first story of the day is going to be Biden building back a better border barrier. And then we also have, apparently somebody actually got convicted for the January 6th stuff. There's a transgender cheerleader that was kicked off of her team for choking a girl. There's sharks off of the coast of Florida. And then we got some fun stuff too. But we're not going to talk about the new disease, whatever it is. I honestly don't know anything about it, Deacon. I have just straight.
It's just the latest crap. It's just the latest crap to sell stuff. I mean, how many? Me and my son were talking about it not too long ago. I was like, son, I've lived through SARS, mad cow disease, the swine flu, the chicken flu, the bird flu, the freaking peacock flu, the elephant flu. It's like we've had all this crap. Every year it's something different so they can sell something. So I don't want to get into it. I'll get us banned.
Yeah. All right. So if we're not careful, we're not talking about this except for this one thing. No. We're not talking about there's not even a good euphemism. We had the coof. We could say coof for the other one. What do we say about this? I don't know. See, this is what I'm saying. We're not talking about it. Good morning. It's early. It's early for me. Hey, good morning, folks. All right. First story of the day. I'm going to try to get the political stuff out of the way first because it's so important. And also, there's other fun. There's actually, Deacon, we got a trailer. We have a trailer we're going to watch by the end of the episode for something that looks good. All right. So, but before that, from timcast.com, which is not newscast certified yet, NewsGuard certified yet. Biden admin orders completion of U.S.-Mexico border wall near Yuma. The DHS says this area presents a safety and life hazard risk for migrants attempting to cross into the United States. So, apparently, during the Trump administration, $65 million was allocated to the Yuma Project 6, one of 11 border wall projects that were Pentagon funded. And I believe that the White House, upon Biden, taking over, canceled or held it, or basically paid the construction workers to not build it. And now we're also going to pay them to build it. But when asked at the White House, the press secretary said that they're not finishing the wall. They're not finishing the wall. They're just fixing the mess the prior administration left.
Of course. Of course you're going to backpedal and blame it on somebody else. I swear to God.
Yeah, so the Yuma region of the U.S.-Mexico border is reportedly the third busiest sector of illegal migrant crossings in the nation, narrowly trailing the Rio Grande Valley and Del Rio in Texas. In April, there were an average of 990 arrests in the sector each day. Deacon, can I ask you what you do 990 times every day? That's a lot. We're not talking about, that's the entire Arizona border. No. That's one sector. So anyway, so it's, hey, it's, what do you think? What do you think is so bad that caused the Biden administration to say, we're not building the wall, put a little bit of wall right there?
What happened was that it was a good idea. You know, we're not trying to keep out everybody from America. We're trying to keep out all the illegals that come over and do stuff. If you want to come over here, come on, man. Come on. I don't know why you would want to come over here in the first place, but come on. You know, you want to try to better yourself and work hard, and you have more opportunities over here than you do in your home country. Welcome. We have some rules that you have to follow, just like anywhere else. You've got some stuff that you got to know. You got to go through this, but if you go through, man, welcome. I wish you well. I hope you succeed and your grandchildren never have to worry about anything. But with thousands and thousands and thousands of illegals crossing over here all the time, that puts an unneeded strain on everything else. And it wasn't a bad idea. Just Orange Man bad. Whatever he said was bad. So now the Biden administration comes in and they don't want to say, this was a good idea. We need to do this because it's gotten out of hand. They don't want to say that because nobody wants to admit, nobody wants to be a man anymore and go, man, I messed up. I completely messed up, and I am sorry. And I will work better at trying to, to be better at this in the future. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody has the guts to admit when they're wrong. And so this is what this is. They don't want to admit they're wrong, and they're backpedaling, and they're blaming it on somebody else. And it's in society. That's what society is today. We've raised a whole generation of 28-year-old and under that don't take responsibility for themselves. They just don't. Nobody takes responsibility anymore. Even when they make a mistake, they will not say, that was my mistake. I'm sorry. They won't do it.
Biden certainly is not under 28, but he did say on the campaign trail,
he would take under August, 28. Oh, sorry. Keto man bad. Sorry.
On the presidential campaign trail in August 2020, Biden declared, there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. Number one, Jack. So anyway, does anybody still that is our age and above, does anybody still, I guess they do, because I like to think that maybe we're just smarter than the average bear sometimes. Do you believe anything a politician says to you? Oh, absolutely not. You should not believe any politician.
You should not believe anything any politician says to you.
If at any point in time you're like, I don't believe politicians, but this guy, I think this guy's honest. He's telling the truth. I believe in this guy. You're falling in the trap again.
That guy's not corrupted yet.
Yeah, you're falling for the trick again.
You're falling for it again. You're either falling for it again or he hasn't been corrupted yet. Because I know people that I've known my whole life that have went on to become politicians in the state, and I'm not going to say anything, but
listen, I mean, I'm all for immigration. In fact, the birth rate in the United States is unsustainable. We don't produce enough citizens to replace the citizens that we lose. We don't. And unless we turn that around, which we really should be doing, immigration is the only way that our population actually grows. Well, immigration, and then there's certain demographics have a little bit better birth rate, but overall the United States has a declining birth rate. So we need immigrants, and we also need to have a border wall to prevent every single person in the world from coming through the border, and maybe have a little bit of control and filtration on who comes in and who comes out, or who comes into the country. in order to protect the people that are here, and in order to enroll migrants that come to our country into the workforce properly, to make sure that they pay their fair share properly, to make sure that they are contributing to the same systems that they will be withdrawing from. I mean, like it's the smallest thing in the world, really, to want to keep your country from being overwhelmed. And like, you wouldn't leave your doors open at night at your house. So, your door is not going to protect you. The wall is not going to absolutely protect you, but it will bring numbers down to maybe a manageable level. Anyway, so okay. I don't even really think that that a border wall is even all of that much of a political hot potato. It's literally common sense.
I know you don't live that close to the border in Texas, but you're closer than I am.
Yeah.
What is the
well, I was until this year.
Is it that much of a deterrent?
Buzzed all over the country.
Well, I mean, is it that much of a deterrent? The wall. It looks to me like they're just, human beings are very resourceful creatures, and if you put a wall up, human beings are going to find a way around the wall.
Well, listen, hey, it's not just about the wall either, right? So having no wall and not paying attention to the border creates an opportunity for people to cross into the country, right? And that opportunity, while mildly, like guarded as well as it can by the few members of the Border Patrol that are there, creates an opportunity for cartels south of the border to create an entire industry of smuggling people in. Those people are called coyotes that bring in people, and they charge like $5,000 a person for every person that comes across the border.
Sometimes these people are like, aren't they indentured for a long time after?
They'll have them more colored. The cartels will have them more colored armbands so that they know which group they are owed to. And so many times during the journey, I mean, we're talking, it's not just like, from the other side of Mexico into Texas. These people are traveling from Honduras, from Central America, across the entire country of Mexico, across the deserts in the far west Texas and the Arizona crossings. These people will get raped, murdered, abused. They will get their money taken, and then they'll get taken again, and then they'll get charged, and then they'll get the rest of their money taken. And they'll be indentured into service, where they have to like mule drugs or something like that. So, I mean, all of this stuff happens. Not securing the border is it's manufacturing smuggling and human trafficking and abuse of foreign nationals. And it also creates a underclass, a subclass, not citizens. These are people not registered. These are people that it creates in America a serf class that can be abused without being fair pay, without having legal remedies to disputes, without exposing themselves. So it's just so many problems, so many human problems that are caused by this stuff. So it's important. It's important. If you want to bring people here, bring people here, but bring them here the right way and let them be protected the right way. And don't create opportunities for cartels to kill and human traffic and, all kinds of other, I mean, it is the worst stuff. It's the worst stuff that you can imagine. And it's on the border of America, and we could actually do something about it. And we're not going to finish the wall. We're not one more foot of the wall. He doesn't care about anybody. Sorry, got a little upset. All right. Anyway, Biden's building the wall. Good job, Joe. Let's how long have we got here? Okay, we can do this. We can do this, Deacon. We can get through. Your face is frozen. Oh, there it is. I think your sound was out too for a second. Jeremy says it's another attempt by the election fraud. It's the donkey pox. Well, that is what Jeremy says. I didn't say that. YouTube, please do not. That is not my opinion. That is somebody else's opinion. YouTube, don't Come on. Be nice. All right. I don't know too much about this, Deacon, but I have questions. Maybe you know something about this. Let's do this one. January 6th riot. No, that's the wrong one. I'm on the wrong page. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. No, that's the wrong one. I am sorry. Well, we'll go with this one. January 6th rioters driven by loyalty to Trump, not insurrection. Harvard study. Deacon. Most people were motivated by loyalty to Trump or the idea that the election was stolen from him, not, apparently, if you didn't know this, not some wackadoodle idea that they could insurrection and take over the Capitol with flags. Did you know? Hey, there's no sound, bro. No sound. Oh, you're muted. Did you know you're muted? Hold on.
Are you there?
Muted. Yeah.
I'm
muted.
This is a story, JJ, that I think it would be best that I just didn't comment on.
All right, that's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
not gonna
I just want to point out that Harvard has affirmed that insurrection was not the motivation.
I don't give a shit what Harvard says about anything. That doesn't add any credibility to anything for me.
We're not getting a lot of good information from the January 6th committee. Okay. Anyway, so insurrection is a hoax. That's what I say. It is a made up excuse. It's not real. And Harvard says that's not why people did anything. Here we go. Let's move on. This is going
to get us in trouble.
Yeah. We got to be quick through this stuff.
Yeah.
We got one more. A man who brought a gun to the Capitol on January 6th gets 7 years in prison. Judge rejects terrorism penalties. So the federal government tried to charge him with terrorism stuff. Judge said no. Prosecutors asked the judge to enhance the sentence with penalties related to terrorism, but the judge ultimately declined. I'm not even seeing a crime in the headline, so I don't understand, because I thought the Constitution said that we're allowed to have guns and also that we're allowed to talk. So maybe this guy did something violent with the gun. I don't know. Guy Reffett, a right-wing militia recruiter, who brought a gun into the brought a gun to the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, has received a 7-year prison sentence, the longest term yet of anyone sentenced for their part in the riot. I'm going to put a period right here. I don't know anything about this. I'm going to bet that this gets reduced on appeal. Reffett, the senior member of the 3 Percenters militia, was the first of those charged to opt to go to trial instead of taking a plea agreement. The CNN reported a jury found him guilty. A jury, probably in D.C., found him guilty of 5 felonies committed during the riot, including bringing a firearm to the Capitol and interfering with an official proceeding. Okay, so it's the Capitol of the United States, and if his only crime is having the firearm, and I realize that Washington, D.C. says that it's illegal to have firearms in the D.C., but the Constitution says that you're allowed to have a firearm. So how is that a crime? So interfering with an official proceeding is the other half of this, and the guy got 7 years in prison. Now, I'm not saying he's an angel. I don't know anything about this guy. In fact, it sounds like he said some crappy stuff to his dad, because his Jackson Reffett, which is Guy's son, testified against him in trial, saying his father had discouraged them from turning him in, and the older Reffett reportedly told his son that traitors get shot. Okay, it just sounds like, talk.
Hey, let me just say this. I'll say this one thing on this.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I'm going to say on this.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking whoever's watching this, if you just educate yourself, just have a peace of mind that I'm going to educate myself in something, even if I firmly disagree with what I was always the person that if I'm going to get into an argument or a conversation with somebody on a subject that I disagree with, I'm going to know about that subject. that I disagree with. I'm just not going to go in blindly like most people do. So all I'm asking you is to educate yourself on not you, JJ, but educate yourself on subjects that you don't maybe agree with. So what I'm encouraging you to do is, this is a brilliant study in society today as well,
right.
and what happens, what is happening. Watch the documentary called 2000 Mules. Watch that documentary, and then go and look it up on Google and read what Wikipedia, what all the articles say, and how they use these words to make you think that it's just a big. Just watch the documentary for your eyes. Let your eyes see and judge for yourself what the documentary is showing you, and then go on the internet and look at how much the internet is trying to tell you one narrative, one side of the narrative. Wikipedia uses keywords to steer you one way. They always do that. I mean, that's a trick that news people use. Is there's keywords that we can use to steer you in a certain way, and you never know. And Wikipedia is doing it for the. Just watch the documentary 2000 Mules, and then decide for yourself if these people were pissed off and what they did, and then decide for yourself if it was real people that were behind Trump or if it was a big freaking conspiracy theory. Because who knows? It might have been fake. It might have been real.
The only thing we know for sure is that Harvard says it's not an insurrection. But
Harvard is full of a bunch of really smart guys with twirly mustaches, and they have these big long pipes, and so that makes you smarter if you've got a twirly mustache and a big long pipe.
Yes, but Harvard is on their side, and their side says no insurrection. So I'm going to say Harvard says no insurrection.
Everybody's on their side. It's very easy to brainwash people. I used to do it on my radio station all the time.
All right. Here's the thing. I don't know what's going on with this guy's case. I only know that I read this story, and in this story, I don't see a crime. Maybe he committed a crime, but there's nothing here other than he had a gun at the Capitol.
Maybe you can't take a gun to the Capitol. I'm sure you probably can't.
No, he didn't go. He did not go. He did not go into the Capitol. He did not go into the building. He went to the Capitol he went into Washington, D.C., and he had a gun.
Have you seen a picture of this guy? Sometimes ugly people just need to be locked up, dude.
Okay. I haven't seen the picture. Anyway, that's all I know about that. We're moving on, but we'll keep an eye on this, because I'm going to bet you that you will see the name Guy Reffitt again once this goes to appeal, and I bet this gets reduced.
Is he that guy with the crazy white hair that sticks up, the chef? Is that the same guy?
That's Guy Fieri. That's Guy Fieri, sir.
Oh, I bet.
Hey, before I move on to the next story, I am moving on to the next story, but I'm going to interject here and do a little bit of shameless self-promotion, folks, and I hope that you will appreciate a little bit of shameless self-promotion. So, but I'm also going to explain this to Deacon. Deacon, I figured this out yesterday. I figured out that in Twitter, you can have communities, okay? And so what I did is I created a Your Two Dads community, and I invited Deacon, and this is the official opening of it. Okay, so here it is.
You got to sing the Friends theme song in order to get in.
Yeah. So on Twitter, if you join a community, you get an extra. Where's it at? You get an extra button there. It looks like two little people, and then you get the Your Two Dads little community thing. If you join the community, you see stories that like, hey, we should talk about this. You can just tweet them at us, and you can on Twitter, instead of tweeting to everyone, you tweet into the community, and then only the people in the community can see it. So that's an easy way to be like, oh, here's a story I found. I'm going to tweet it. And then also we can talk about other stuff. But anyway, I am attempting to, create a place for our little, show to exist, to interact with each other that is not on Discord. So, I don't want to bring normies onto Discord. I think normies are mostly on Twitter. So anyway, if you're on Twitter, I will. There's a link in the show
They're
notes.
They're not there either, JJ.
I think they're there. No, look past the robots. If you look past those robots and you look past some other robots, there's some people out there. And I just want to give them a place where they can kind of interact with us. And it's where some stuff is happening. It's where Elon is for the moment.
Dude, can we please? I'm glad you said that about Elon. Can we please? Can I say something?
Yeah.
I was up this morning and I was, getting ready and sitting there, scrolling through, and I saw this picture of Elon and his son, and it might be asterisk exclamation point or whatever his other son's name is. He's got a bunch of kids. I don't know which son it was, but it's his youngest one, so I'm guessing it's the one that was named all weird crap. So anyway, Elon's he's squatted down and he's standing next to his son. It's a cute little picture. The little boy's cute. And Elon's got this shirt that says Space Cowboy. It's kind of cool. It's it fits him. What I wanted to comment, though, is you see this? You see my head?
Yeah.
You see the hair on the sides? It's kind of, I got the hair horseshoe that goes on that dads get, the Bozo the Clown horseshoe. That's me. Okay. So, if I was the richest man in the world, I would get fake hair too. And Elon's got fake hair because if you go back and look at pictures of Elon in the past, he was going very bald, and now he's not bald. So it's a miracle. But this picture of Elon, so he has enough. That's it. He has enough money to buy hair. Okay. But this is the hair he bought. Just
hey, it's definitely real.
If I had all the money in the world to get hair, if somebody was going to be like, Andy, I'm going to buy you some hair right now, I would not look like that. I would not pick that one. You know what he looks like?
It doesn't look like it's super glued to a bald head. I'm sure.
I have seen rugs on old men that look better than that.
Yeah.
Fake 70s toupees, man. That looks terrible. Do you know what he looks like? A specific drawing that human males have been doing since the beginning of time. A specific symbol that males draw and giggle at each other. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. Looks a little, I'm mostly looking at his shoes and I'm thinking the dude is like a multi-billionaire, and those shoes I'm 100% came from Kmart or Target.
Oh, I would know. That's me. I would, if I had won the $1 billion Mega Millions jackpot, dude, I'd still wear Chuck Taylors and eat macaroni.
Those aren't Chucks. Those are fake Chucks. Those are like the Crocs that look like Chucks. But that's anyway.
Oh, yeah, Ashley hates Crocs.
Hey, look, I'm glad he's hanging out with his kid. Or hopefully,
I am too. That's great. Way to go.
Right.
Or that's probably a publicity stunt, I'm sure, because he's Elon Musk.
Why would he shave his head? Why would he shave the side of his head?
Because I think he would look like Joe Rogan's fat, bloated brother. If he shaved his head, he's not one of those people that pull off. Jeff Bezos really don't pull off a freaking bald head very good either.
Maybe I should try to do that. Look, 3 inches.
No, you got hair. Rock the hair, man. I'm telling you, you rock the hair. I used to have bangs in the 90s, listening to Pearl Jam with my flannel shirt tied around me, and I used to have my bangs going in my mouth, man.
Them's was the days.
Rocking out to Even Flow.
Here we go. All right. Good morning, folks. Good morning to Ghost Dog. Good morning to Jordan. Good morning to we got David Beckham. David Beckham.
No, Buckham. Do you know who that is? You know who David is, don't you?
Tell me who David is. I always get confused.
Sinister Minister.
Oh, the Sinister Minister. Hey, man. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for showing up. We're so happy you're here. Yeah, if your username doesn't match the handle, then I just can't. I can't.
I know Dave. I know Sinister because he lives close to me. We both played the game. We met each other. We both played the game. He lives not too far from me, and we talk quite a bit. He lives in Kentucky too. He's central. I'm western. He's central. And then, can we mention this real quick? The death toll in eastern Kentucky has gone up to 37. Man.
Oh my God!
9 since yesterday. Yeah,
that is terrible.
And they said
we talked about this yesterday, but that is just awful.
Yeah, and they're still. I mean, it's still pretty bad in that area. There's a lot of places around here that are taking different types of hygiene stuff, and baby stuff and pet supplies and stuff is what we're really collecting for right now. And folks are going that way. So yeah, just, I mean, whatever you do, pray, send good vibes, do a dance in your yard, whatever you do to send positive energy to people. Do that for the people in Eastern Kentucky, because that's one of the poorest regions in America, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's, those people are very, very poor.
Hey, talk
very
for a second,
poor. I'm going to have to go and do, oh no, we're going to, you know what? I'm going to have to let you guys listen to me on the radio, because I have to, I've got 25 seconds. So if JJ doesn't come back in 25 seconds, I'm just going to turn this and let you see. Look at my little. Okay, y'all are going to have to listen to me on the radio. Y'all get a special. Get to listen to me. 7:02. Let's get to our Calvary Cafe cover dish song of the day.
Hey, folks,
I
have to please forgive me for a moment. Deacon is on the air, and then he can come back and talk to you for a second. But my dog has suddenly gotten a little sick. I need to go clean it up. So I'm stalling until he gets off the air for just a second. But so we have a new dog. Our old dog. We had him for 12 years, and we had to put him down a couple weeks ago, and we adopted another dog, and she's really great, but she's still kind of a puppy, and she's been chewing on this rubber bone at my office, and apparently she's now spitting up pieces of it. So I do hope you'll be forgive us for a second, and I will be back in just a moment.
Oh, JJ had to leave again. His little girls must be getting up. Right. I muted because JJ started talking. I do at 7:00. I do my news runs, my radio news runs. See my clock? It's old. My radio news runs, and then after that, I do this thing. It's kind of cool. I do this thing. It's a bit called covered dish. My covered dish, like a casual covered dish. So it's a covered dish, and it's just a cover song that I play. It's just a way to do a cover song. And this little restaurant right across the street sponsors it. It's called the Calvert Cafe. And so I do a little ad for them in the morning, a little live ad that I was doing right there. It's kind of the same but different every morning. And then I go into a cover song. And this week I'm playing songs from, see if you can see my screen. Probably not very good, but it's songs from the King of the Hill soundtrack. And the King of the Hill soundtrack had a bunch of really good. I will probably get copyright stricken if I freaking turn it up too much, but it's the Mavericks Down on the Corner playing. And it's really good. And the covered dish actually the idea came from a fellow DJ friend of mine who was like a brother to me. I met him as a DJ, and he was a humongous man. His name was Rhodey. And Rhodey, his real name was Jeremy. Let me check my song here. And Rhodey was, that's what he went by on the air, Rhodey. And he was my age, and he was a humongous man. He was like 6'6", and at one point he weighed like 500 pounds, 490. I mean, he was a humongous man. And he was the nicest. I'm speaking of him in past tense, as you can tell. He was one of the nicest people, man. He was just like my brother. He is the only person. DJs have this little thing that we do to each other, and we try to make each other laugh or break while you're on the air. So if I'm sitting here talking and reading the news or something, blah, 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 another DJ would come in and, flick your ear, or start rubbing your head, or start trying to screw you up. They're trying to screw you up. And it's just a little fun thing that we do. And Rhodey is the only one. He's the only person that's ever got me to break. And he was like a brother to me, and he that was his idea. The cover dish, we worked on the classic rock station, and that was his idea years ago, a decade ago or more. He was like, "Oh, I want to do this and call it the cover dish and play a cover song and maybe give away like a free taco or a free burger or something from someplace. And we'll talk to some salespeople." It's like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. And he never did it. He never did it. And Rhodey passed away. I don't know if my song was over yet. But Rhodey passed away about 4 years ago. He was getting in his car. He shut the door one morning. He put his foot on the brake, and he had a massive heart attack and died right there in his car. And he was just a really good friend of mine. And so I do the covered dish in honor of him every day. So, and I don't give away anything. I just, we talk about the Calvert Cafe because they do this little thing. And so that's what I was doing. Sorry, JJ, I was passing along while you were going. I was talking about this bit that I do on the radio every morning at 7 o'clock. So while y'all are watching me and I do my little at 7 o'clock, I'm doing this bit called the covered dish where I play a cover song and talk about it a little bit. And it's been really fun. And it's been really interactive too. I've gotten a lot of people that will call and want to hear a specific, can you play this song by one of them not too long ago was Stairway to Heaven by Dolly Parton. You ever heard Stairway to Heaven by Dolly Parton?
I have not.
Actually really good. It's actually really good.
Oh, wow.
You know, so that's what I was doing, talking about my buddy Rhodey.
So my dog, I've been taking her to my office and I gave her this rubber chew bone and she's been chewing on it. And I'm like, all right, you can have it. It's a chew bone. Apparently she's been eating it and
it's like 15 years old. It's dry.
I see what Jeremy says now. I said, I thought your kids were up. And he's like, nah. Yeah. Ruby puked up chunks of the dog.
I'm going to take it away from her. Okay. So, of course, I mean, like every single day. So I've actually heard you talk about Culver Cafe before, and you talked about their biscuits the other day because you left your mic on while you were doing your ad.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was like a few days ago, but like I was like, oh, listen, he's talking about this biscuit thing or whatever. Anyway,
sometimes when I hit this,
yeah, that mutes it.
Yes, well, sometimes when I hit it, it don't mute it. So I'll look over. When I keep looking over, I'm watching my timers up here on the screen. It's a countdown timer. And so I'm keeping up with, and I'm going 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and then I'll hit that button. And sometimes I don't guess it hits. I'm sorry. I'll double check.
Hey, I was thinking about what we were talking about yesterday because, we were talking about, you wanted to get a camera and, so you can use your mic board and you're using your phone as your mic for the show. And I was just walking downstairs. Yeah. But I was just thinking like, well, why can't you just use your computer with your mic as your mic and still use the Chromebook camera right now? Like it's, this is how smart we are.
I guess I could.
This is how smart. Neither of us figured this out. I mean, you could be doing the thing you're doing with your phone with your like pro rig. Anyway, and maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess I could. I could.
It literally never occurred to me until just like
because y'all never see.
Why?
Y'all never see my bottom down here.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff there.
So,
well, the reason I actually was thinking about it is because if you were using your computer as your mic, your other computer as your mic, you could actually, drop stories on the show, even though you're not doing your camera. You could like share your screen or
that's
whatever.
True.
Anyway,
well, I'll figure that out. All right.
Yeah. Whoops. All right. Look, I was going to do the story about the transgender cheerleader, but it's not super interesting. There's a transgender cheerleader and she beat up a girl and then complained to everybody else. I don't want to talk about that story. Let's talk about sharks off the coast of Florida.
I saw this yesterday, man. This is scary as crap.
Not this shark. That is Nancy Pelosi. Let me pause that. Anyway, so sharks spotted. The New York Post says sharks spotted in shallows near kids. Get out of the water. This is crazy. So they looked like they were going to crawl up on land. Large sharks were spotted swimming next to the shore.
I thought it like attacked a guy. I thought one got his leg.
Yeah.
I thought one of them got a guy's leg.
I don't know. I haven't. You're farther along this than I am.
Oh, my
I just
bad.
realized my purple stuff has disappeared. There we go. Nope, come back. Purple stuff. There it is. Okay. So large sharks spotted swimming next to the shore in Florida Saturday, prompting beachgoers to evacuate. Footage of the shallow water sharknado, very culturally relevant New York Post, is making waves online amid a spike in attacks and sightings along the eastern seaboard. The jaws dropping. Wow. I'm going to give big ups to Mr. Ben Cost here, taking the brave steps, going extra hard dad, putting in as many puns as he can into this story. The jaws dropping clip, filmed Saturday at Neptune Beach in Jacksonville, per Fox News, shows several large sharks of indeterminate species cruising through the shallows mere feet from the beach where kids were playing. Elsewhere in the clip, swimmers can be seen standing in the drink as two men are escorted to shore by a yellow lifeguard float. At one point, a bystander can be heard shouting, "Get out of the water!" in a scene straight out of Jaws. So look at this. This is how shallow this water is. It's got the sea foam on top, right? You can see the waves are crashing. This can't be more than 60 feet from dry land. And you can see there's a fin and a tail and a fin and a tail, I think. Maybe two fins. I'm not sure. And there's a wider shot. Look, this woman is just standing there, and they are not that far from shore. So, so when's the last time you went to Florida? And when do you plan to go back? Oh, he's gone. Hey, Deacon's not here. So that's crazy. Oh, could this be a Discovery Shark Week stunt? You think Discovery planted those sharks off the coast so they could hype their Shark Week?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. It's no, it's been since the year 2000 since I went to Florida, and that year I was in the middle of a Seminole Indian reservation with about 150,000 other fish heads watching fish celebrate the year 2000.
Oh my goodness. And the end of the world.
I'm an old hippie.
The entire world was going to end because the clocks couldn't calculate the next day.
No. Fish performs huge festivals. Fish, the band PHISH, if people don't. And they performed huge festivals, and I was a huge fish head. Yeah. And we went down there because they were going to be performing in the middle of a Seminole Indian reservation. It was going to be like a 3-day thing, and then they were going to start playing at midnight when it turned 2000, and then they were going to play for 6 straight hours. So you really got you got like 3 days of concerts. It was a big thing. It was a huge thing. I was a hippie back in the day. I don't look like it now. I think it's funny because my daughter's friends and my daughter and them, my son, they're all getting older. You know how when kids get into their teenage years and they discover rebel and rebellion, and they all want to be kind of like free spirit. Some of them want to be free. Yeah. And I'm like, and they're showing me all this stuff that I'm like, been there, done that. Already know.
We got Tanner Zuzga. Tanner Zuzga. I believe that's the fellow from the Discord. Welcome to the show. Yeah. We are glad you're here. We don't have to agree on things, Tanner. I'm okay with that. I'm sure you are too. Me and JJ and I do not agree on everything. And sometimes you will hear his. I mean, there was something that we were talking about the other day that we didn't agree on. I can't remember. It's funny. Yeah. We both respect each other, though. I love JJ. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. We don't have to agree on everything. I feel like there's probably some things that I'm harder on, and then there's other things that maybe Deacon is like harder on. I meant to bring if we're talking politically or whatever. I did this test a while back, and I found the graph that I have, but I don't know where I have it now. I took a three-dimensional political attitudes test. So, normally there's a 2-dimensional test if you're, right on economics or right on social issues, or if you're left on economics, left on social issues, and it makes a grid, and then you kind of end up somewhere on the grid. But there's a 3-dimensional test that puts into that, it adds in authoritarianism and not authoritarianism. And it turns out that I am just right of center. I'm fairly in the middle, but I'm a little bit right of center. Like if you were to say like slightly conservative libertarian, right, rather than like slightly liberal, or I'm not far politically right. I'm definitely not far politically left. I'm kind of in the middle, but I am anti-authoritarian. I don't like authority. I don't like government. I don't like government having power over people. I mean, less is more as far as I'm concerned. So I'm pretty moderate on like social and economic issues, but I'm like anti-authoritarian. So that's where I land. Anyway, it says it's interesting. I might hand that out sometime and we can like compare and see where you land on things and other people.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Hey, you know what? Listeners, I will remind you again in the link of the show notes, there is a link to the Twitter community of Your Two Dads, which you are welcome to join. And not only can you be on Twitter, but then you can tweet into just the community and then no one outside the community can see it. You can go take your political three-dimensional test and post it in there and let us know where you're at. And anyway, so we're gonna make our Twitter community maybe a thing, maybe not, maybe it doesn't pick up. So Jeremy says that this story bites, and Zunga says, I guess you could say this story is a bit fishy.
I was trying to get.
I'm gonna give Tanner. I'm gonna give you the Ben Costa word of the day. So there we go. All right, look, I'm just gonna do a drive-by of this story because it has to be shown. You guys need to know it's out there, and I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm not interested at all. But Timcast.com says transgender cheerleader cited for criminal assault after choking out a female teammate. The father of the alleged victim is pressing for security camera footage to be released. Avery, I'm sorry.
Do your best.
Avery Channel Medlock, a 25-year-old biological male who identifies as a woman, was kicked off the Ranger College cheerleading camp and slapped with a criminal assault after choking a 17-year-old female teammate for misgendering. The girl, who's only identified by her first name, Carly, reported Medlock as, quote, a man with a, before Medlock allegedly choked her. That is a 25-year-old dude that choked a female minor. And you're supposed to feel like she's the victim or something like that. So anyway, this is terrible. My kids, I have two daughters. Right now, they love gymnastics. In a year, they might love dance. In a year, they might, when they start school, they might be interested in cheerleading. And whatever they want to do, I want to support them. And as their dad, if I had a 25-year-old dude on the team touching my daughter, I might be going to jail. And it might not be for slapping somebody around.
Oh, there would not be a might with me. I would be going to jail. I have prepared for certain things like that. I have, if something happens, I've already mentally prepared that I will be spending some time in jail to get justice. You don't mess with my family. I may be like I think that's a switch that would go off in me.
This person is trying to play themselves as some sort of a victim here. He touched a girl, and that is not acceptable. Medlock can be heard saying, quote, I barely touched Carly. Well, barely touched is too much touched. Don't touch. You don't touch other people. Words don't hurt you. Anyway, don't do that stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. Not cool. Not cool, bro. All right. I noticed this weekend, and probably not many of you did. I kind of noticed it in passing, and I didn't pay much attention to it, so I didn't bring it up earlier in the week. But I do have the Epic Times in my news feed in my YouTube, and I basically skip over their stuff most of the time. And I have the Epic Times on my Twitter feed, and I skip over their stuff most of the time. But I noticed that Twitter was censoring Epoch Times links last weekend, like last Saturday, Sunday. It would be links to stories or whatever. And apparently Twitter was, let's see if there's a screenshot. There's no screenshot. I saw a screenshot earlier. Twitter was labeling these links as spammy, or whatever they do with their when they do tagging, and they were saying Epoch Times links were not true information or whatever. I don't know. I understand the sentiment of why people think like, oh, there should be tags about what's believable and what's not. There's nobody out there that you can believe that can tell you what is believable or what's not. There's nobody out there that can legitimately say these people tell the truth and these people don't. That doesn't happen. That's not real. So anybody that fact checkers and stuff, fact checkers, they twist words. And I guess Twitter has decided that it has the responsibility or the duty or the right to censor media. So yeah, you should.
I used to have a buddy all the time that he lived to prove you wrong. I mean, he was a nice guy. He was a grade A prick, man. I mean, when pricks come, he was the best. He was a prick, but he was my buddy, and we all knew he was a prick. But he lived to prove everybody wrong. So if you said something, he was one of those guys. This was pre-internet too. He was one of those guys that, no, that's not right, blah, blah, blah. So when the internet came out and Snopes website came on, oh my God, you thought that he was Mr. Snope. You know, everything he said, he was like, oh, Snope said this. That's not true. Snope said this. That's not true. Snope said this. And we all tried to tell him for a long time, you know, that's some bull crap. You know, you're probably listening to some fat guy. You know what? It turned out it was a crazy man and a crazy woman in their house for the longest time. That's what they did. So you were fact checking from two random people in their house is who was doing your fact checking, who you were fact checking from. So yeah, trust no one.
Yeah, I just think it's a better look. How do I bridge this? So you ever watch crime stuff, or you ever watch like true crime stuff, and they have like they have the detectives bring the person into the interrogation room, and then they're like, tell us the truth and whatever, and so but the detectives, they can lie to you, they can mislead you, they can tell you, can suggest, right? Yeah. So and like dumb criminals fall for this all the time, and then they confess, and then they're criminals, they did do something wrong, okay, fine, but they confess and they kind of like put the noose around their own neck, metaphorically.
Oh, that gang does whatever they want. I mean, the police do whatever they want. So there's
I have
no
considered this
argument
before.
Them.
Why we have a right to free speech. We have a right to bear arms and protect ourselves, depending on what state you live in the country. But why don't we proclaim a right to lie, a right to, I don't have to tell you the truth. In fact, I'm going to say your life would be better and safer if you assumed all of the time, not that everybody's always lying, but that at any time, anyone could be lying. Anyone could be lying to you or telling you the truth at any given time, which means you shouldn't trust out of hand just whatever is told to you from anybody, because people can lie. There's very little consequences usually, and a lot of upside. So with that being said, should you trust what the Epoch Times says? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe not. You should see if it checks out and check other things. Should you trust when factcheck.whatever says that this story was true or not true, or, two Pinocchios or something? Probably not. You should, if anybody is telling you that they're the people checking the truth on other people, those people are almost certainly lying. Almost certainly.
4 out of 5 doctors recommend Marlboro brand cigarettes.
Yes. All right. So anyway, that's really all I got to say about that. Like, okay, Twitter stops. So basically, Epoch Times links were getting like tagged as misinformation or spammy or whatever. So then people on Twitter were like, "Hey, what's up with this?" Epic Times is a legitimate news outlet, and they have offices in China, they have offices here, they have most of the coverage that they do is like stuff on like overseas China stuff like that, anti-communism. Anyway, people were complaining on Twitter. I guess Twitter realized that they were showing their hand a little bit, and anyway, so that's not a story. That's not a thing anymore. They're going to wait until you're not paying attention.
Did you see that video that China has started showing? It's like a propaganda video showing how badass they are in the military and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm avoiding talking
pretty
about
good production quality. I mean, I'd like to watch that movie.
So I've been struggling for 3 days here now to not talk about Pelosi going to Taiwan, because that broad is going to get us into.
There are so many jokes that I have so many jokes in my head. I'm going to explode if I don't tell one of them about Pelosi going to China.
You have done it now, sir. You have made it so that I have no choice. I mean, this is really your own fault. Yeah, hang on. If you had like a console, maybe we could do like a sound bar or something like that. I just don't know. But if you bring up Pelosi, I have to show Pelosi Skeletor. And this is your fault. So, audience, blame Deacon. Bear witness to the Speaker of the House trying to cause an international war.
I'll get you, He-Man. No, hang on.
Can you do it?
I can't get as high as I can. I couldn't get as high as I used to.
Frank Walker? Wasn't that Frank Walker?
Skeletor, talk like this. But he was... Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple more. I got to hurry.
Everybody can do a Scooby-Doo impersonation.
So James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad and Slither and some other stuff.
We like him.
I like him, but he has some bad takes sometimes. James Gunn believes Warner Brothers giving the green light to an R-rated Scooby-Doo is within the realm of possibility. I think they'd do it if we asked. Well, James Gunn, that's a very bad ask. And Warner Brothers, don't effing listen to this dummy, because if you do an R-rated Scooby-Doo, then I'm never going to let my kids watch any Scooby-Doo again, because that's what it is.
What's the purpose of making? I mean, what is going to make it be deemed as R? Is it one bad word? Is it two bad words? Is it two F word? What is it? Because there can't be, if you're going to make a Scooby-Doo movie with any kind of gratuitous skin, then you've picked the wrong damn person to make a Scooby-Doo movie. Okay. And second of all, if you're making a Scooby-Doo movie that's got the F word in it or anything that's going to make it, the only thing that I can guess is that it's probably got the violence. The violence goes so far that they had to be like, we got to rate this R, and that's bullcrap. Just write it different.
I don't know how he would get there. But he got to an R-rated, because here's the thing, and I do this across the board with all properties, anything at all. It's not just R-rated. If you have a series or an intellectual private franchise, if you will, and you decide, we're going to go a hard R on Scooby-Doo, then I'm going to say, I'm not letting my kids watch that. And I'm not letting my kids watch any of the stuff that leads up to that, because they'll want to watch the cartoons and then the PG-13 movies and then, the R. Well, no. So that entire franchise gets removed from my kids' entertainment diet, which is what happened with a bunch of them. I don't let them watch Sesame Street. I don't let them watch Blue's Clues. I don't let them watch a bunch of stuff. And you know why? Because I'm not going to sit there and monitor every single thing. If you do one thing wrong, then I remove all of it, because there's plenty of stuff out there, and my kids don't need to see that stuff.
That's
and they
the
don't
key.
need
That's
to
the
be
key.
drawn into it.
That's what you just said, and that's the key. There's plenty of stuff out there nowadays that I don't have to make my kid watch this TV show that every other kid's watching. Oh well, there's plenty of stuff that is, and again, cartoons are educational now. You rarely have a cartoon anymore that is not educational, and every one of ours was not educational.
So Jordan, Jordan says that there's a fixing to be an R-rated Winnie the Pooh. Do I have the same sentiment about Winnie? I really do. Now,
The reason, wait a minute. The reason there's going to be an R-rated Winnie the Pooh is because that property just went into public domain.
Public domain, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have the same sentiment. I'm not going to let them watch that, and I probably would not let. I mean, that's not the same franchise holders, so.
Right, it's not the same franchise holders. I mean,
so you could almost say it's a parody, you know.
In that instance, yeah, if you stuck towards that, you could be like, I'm not going to let my kids ever see a clown because they made an evil clown in a movie. No, I agree with what you said. I mean, but because of how you put it in the timeline, because I'm a dad, I see you're exactly right. Yeah. That's how it's going to go. You're not letting your kid watch the R-rated Scooby-Doo, but you let them watch the other Scooby-Doos. And they like it, and they eventually watch this, and they eventually watch this, and they watched a couple of movies that are PG-13, and then they want to know why the hell they can't watch this, because we have gone through this exact scenario, except not with Scooby-Doo. So you're exactly right.
All right, so we're now getting to the end of the show. I hear Showstopper coming, but before the end of the show, I want to show this. I have been miserably disappointed with everything that Disney Star Wars has done. I've actually been quite miserably disappointed with everything that Star Wars has done for like probably 20 years.
They've done some, I can argue with you on that one day. I think they've done some good things, but I will say firmly in your camp.
Rogue One is probably one of the best Star Wars movies. Probably like 3 or 4 for me. I like Rogue One, and for that reason, all
the television series were pretty good.
All right, girls, come here, girls. I want you to say good morning to Deacon and the audience here. Come here and say hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Deacon.
Hi.
There you go. Hey, Showstopper, come here. You want to say good morning to the audience?
Yeah.
Come here.
Oh. Hi. Good morning, Deacon. Daddy, good morning.
Yeah, I know. You can hear. Okay, I'll be done in just a second. Okay. All right. So I've been miserably disappointed with Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, but I do want to say, and thanks everybody. I do want to say, saw some of this, and it looks well. We'll save my opinions for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I give you the first trailer for Andor, a Disney Star Wars show that I'm not sure anyone was asking for, but it appears to be a prequel to Rogue One.
Now that's pretty badass.
It's all right.
To steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied.
I do have to stop and interrupt this every once in a while in hopes that we don't get flagged again. I don't. I kind of recognize this guy's eyes, but I don't exactly recognize him. There are some actors here.
They were in Rogue One.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah.
They can't imagine that someone like me.
And that's what's his name.
Get inside their house.
Talking there.
So
him.
So he was in Rogue One.
What was his name? Oh, it wasn't Cassian. It was
something.
What Cassian? Was that? Cassian? I thought he was in the ones after.
Oh, hey,
I don't remember
guys,
what his name is.
We have,
yeah.
Deacon, I gotta interrupt this. So, I mention this all the time. If you look at our title card, it says that the show, I'm gonna flip it over here just a second. The show's weekdays live at 6:30 a.m. live on Twitch and YouTube, and then later on Facebook, Twitter, and Rumble or whatever. Facebook and Rumble. I have Twitter in there. That's probably not too great. That's our show sign for you two dads. We have a member of the audience from Twitch right now. I was right to keep the show on Twitch. The show is on Twitch for you, EI Pro 7562, which I believe is actually Zeno on Discord. Anyway, so shout out to Twitch. Yeah, Tanner's never watched Star Wars. Tanner, I honestly can't take any opinion that you offer for anything at all if you've never watched any Star Wars.
Hey, honestly, at this point, and he's never seen any, or they've never seen anything Star Wars. It's kind of like a, wow, that's
Good for
that's a
holding out.
feat. That's
for
a
not
really
seeing
a feat.
Jeremy says Star Wars is dead, Disney bad. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's you were right. This is Cassian. Yeah, I was wrong. I had them reversed in my head. Yeah. Yeah, Jordan was
Buckaroo
right.
Banzai, which by the way, big shout out to your handle. I mean, I know that and I just read right past it, but like I love Buckaroo Banzai. It's in my DVD box down earlier. I was fighting with my wife the other day because she was like, "Why do we have all these DVDs?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't want to buy them again on digital, and I don't want to not own Buckaroo Banzai."
That's right. That's right.
I may not have watched it in 10 years, but anyway,
but that is one of those movies that you need to always be able to have at hand. That's a great one.
That and this right here, Idiocracy, which is your manual for the 21st century.
I looked that up. I can watch it on Stars if I join a free thing, and I don't have it on. My buddy doesn't have it on his Plex, and I just hadn't asked him to look for it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, I'd like this.
It's good. All right, there you go.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real?
Stellan Skarsgård. Love it. Except in Thor, where he ran around naked. Don't need to see that, but this is good.
We only have 4 people. We only have 4 actors in Hollywood that have to play every part in every freaking franchise.
Hey, man, if one of them is Stellan Skarsgård, that's okay.
Man, that's great and all, but God almighty, there's other actors out there. We see the same damn face. That's why we're all confused and whatnot. So I'm like, wait a minute. Is he in Star Wars or Marvel? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, same. They didn't even have to change the checks. They got the same checks.
Yeah, that's true.
I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's go.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker's back. Come on, man. That was a good character in Rogue One. He was crazy.
That character was a prick in the Clone Wars, though. If you actually know the character in Star Wars, not Forrest Whitaker, but that character, I can't remember his dang name now. He was kind of a prick, man. I never liked that character. He did a great job portraying that character, but the character I did not like.
Oh, okay.
The character fit. I have a hard time explaining this. The character fit the story, but the character I did not like that character, like emotionally.
That's good.
So they did a good job.
Good. That is good. When you have a reaction to a character, that means that it's good. I never watched the Clone Wars. I watched like 5 minutes of it or whatever. I just never got into it. I know for some people that is Star Wars, and I respect that. But
the Clone Wars cartoon?
Yeah. No, I just never.
There's the movie, and then there's the TV show, and the TV show is the best piece of Star Wars stuff that they've made. Movies, books, anything. That Clone Wars TV show is the best piece of Star Wars material they've made.
Right, here we are, not in agreement. That's okay.
That's all right.
War.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting. You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief?
Do you recognize any of those?
Well, I like how they portrayed the Empire with, in this and the Rogue One, they've really tried to portray the Empire in that grandiose scale with a lot of blanked colors. The dull grays and that white scene right there in that white room with those white uniforms
and muted tones. The Empire's always been sterile. It's always been high gloss.
It gives you that. It gives you that feeling just in that little scene right there. That's kind of like, oh, that's very imposing.
Is this a very subtle jab at Amazon and the Rings of Power? This little shot right here. Okay. I have. If you ever want to talk about Rings of Power or Lord of the Rings on Amazon, it's going to have to be initiated by you because I have very little interest in it, and I know it's not going to be good, and I don't want to dig into how bad it is. So,
I think
but
the Lord of the
audience,
Rings
if you guys want to
better
talk
than
about
Star
it, let me
Wars.
know.
You're muted.
I can't even with you, Deacon. I can't.
You're going in and out.
You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good
Guys,
chance
we have
they'll
a
miss
guest.
what I'm really doing.
Guest and not
What are
dad
you
on the
really
show.
doing?
This is not a dad.
This is what revolution
Oh,
looks
no,
like.
but,
I'm tired of losing.
We are all watching the trailer, but that's fine.
For what?
Wow, look at this guy with the
Oh, hey.
glasses.
Somehow that looks
Oh,
like
that's
something
what's her
else.
name. That's what's her name.
No,
that was
no,
in
no, no, no,
Rogue
no.
One.
No. That thing is way bigger. No,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about something that was like a force sensitive thing. Okay, so you want to tell us. Oh, by the way, Deacon, yesterday, Sunday at church, our pastor, not our pastor, guest speaker,
Doesn't matter.
whatever.
Yeah, somebody from the church.
Was telling a story, and he was talking about a deacon at the church, and my daughter stops writing letters, and she's like, Dad, he's talking about deacon. He's talking about deacon. I was like, no, he's talking about a deacon. It's the same word. Never mind.
He's like, he knows your friend.
Yeah, he knows your friend.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you were telling, what were you going to tell?
That was the
Oh, that's the
story.
story.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. JJW, everybody. If you are glad that she showed up on the show, please hit like, subscribe, and make sure to share the show with your friends. Every day, youtube.com/JJW8071. And, it's the best morning news show that you can even find at 6:30 in the morning, hosted by your two dads. Let's finish this trailer. That thing had 4 arms, dude.
I really think
Three-episode
that was.
premiere streaming September 21st.
I really think that was the what's her name alien that had Luke's saber.
Yeah, I know you think that, but
That's freaking the other. See, I get so confused with Star Wars because you don't know what to watch. It's like this damn movie. This is a prequel to a prequel to a prequel to a sequel to a prequel to a sequel, right?
Hold on. Yeah, we're on 1080p. So I want to tell you some things that I'm going to mute this. I'm going to tell you some things I like about this. I like the wide shots. For me, wide shots, especially like, where is it? Right here, like the opening wide shot. Like this. This is so good. And this reminds me of the early scenes in Rogue One where the family was like hiding out or whatever. And then like the Empire comes down and snatches the engineer dad. And this reminds me very much of that.
You just like this because this is one of the very few movies, Star Wars movies, that takes place on a planet other than freaking Tatooine.
Like
so
as long as there's no sand.
Different. Yeah, it looks different because it's green. And everybody remembers Hoth because it was white, and every other damn place has been desert.
So this looks like a plate to me. I'm sure it's not, but like, you have like practical set here, and then there's a very obviously the cliff, but then this looks like a plate shot or something like that. It's probably using their LED wall or whatever. And I'm a little bit like, nah, I don't know about that. And then there was the overhead shot of the ship. This almost looks like it's something that you find on YouTube, to be honest, because this doesn't look terribly convincing to me. Looks a little bit amateur. Not sure. But overall, I would say that this show this trailer for this show hits a tone. I don't know who all the characters are. I don't really care. I can see that there's a Cassian dude. I'm kind of familiar with him. I like anytime Stellan Skarsgård's on screen, I'm going to be like, I'm listening to you, sir. And there's a bunch of other characters. I noticed throughout this trailer that there's a lot of humans, or did they call them humans in Star Wars? I don't really know. but they were like, there's not so many people walking around with rubber faces.
They're the prevalent race in the Star Wars,
right,
galaxies in the known galaxy. They're the prevalent race.
All of these scenes, many of these scenes anyway, there was one or two shots that had like aliens or whatever. And it's not like I don't like seeing aliens, but I just don't like, I don't want to see that all the time.
But you have to remember at this time period in the Empire, you are not going to see any aliens in the normal. If they have any aliens, they're going to be in elevated positions like the Grand Inquisitor and those. Because at this point in I'm a Star Wars nerd, and I say Lord of the Rings I like it more than Star Wars. So, but at this point in the history, the Empire was coming off the clones, but starting to do some recruiting, of humans.
Okay. So that's the within lore reason. But I'll tell you this: I am happy to see like something or somebody in like alien makeup once in a while, but it should be the rare occurrence or the uncommon occurrence. Because if you want to tell a story with heart, if you want to tell a story with emotion, if you want to connect with an audience, if you want to make an actual, if you want to actually resound with the audience, your story should have humans on screen interacting with each other. That's where drama, tension, and character like interact and becomes convincing. As soon as you start talking to a tennis ball or a cartoon or like a guy covered in like latex foam or whatever, like it doesn't hook you in right. The attitude and tone of Rogue One and this kind of a show. Okay, so if you think back to Rogue One, mostly humans, but then there was that one robot, right? I can't remember his name, and he was played by Alan Tudyk. Oh, and that one robot, which was and it just had attitude and snark, and it was mean, and it was like, well, you'll all die, but I'll live. He was the exception to the cast. He was the
comic relief in the Star Wars. The Star Wars movies all have comic relief. And the Star Wars movies all have a comic relief. And they need a comic relief in that one. And they always have the anti-hero. Right. The anti-heroes in that were Donnie Yen's character and the other guy, the Wills guys. They were kind of anti-hero a little bit. I guess Cassian was the anti-hero too. But the Star Wars movies have a damn formula. That's why everybody hated Jar Jar Binks. And I'm like, Jar Jar Binks was the comic relief, and he played a vital point in the story. And you can hate him if you want to, but he's the comic relief. Every one of those, that's the race.
I do hate him. Everybody hates him. There's nobody that likes Jar Jar.
I'm never one of these people. If the whole world says that red shoes are cool, my ass is wearing blue shoes. I've never been one of these people to jump on the bandwagon. So when everybody comes on the internet and says, I hate Jar Jar Binks or this movie sucks, more than likely, I'm probably going to like that movie. I've just learned. I've learned.
All right.
I'm just one of those people. I don't do it on purpose. I just do it.
You defended that square foot. I ain't taking it.
Yeah.
Jar Jar.
By God, I do.
I would wear
I like how you put
Jar Jar head on my coat. I don't care about spaceships. And I don't care about like.
Oh no, I like all that crap. I love it.
I mean, like, it's gonna. You got to put something in the shot to make it look like something that. Anyway, so like there's a bunch of shots of spaceships, like there's this one I'm trying to get to. I guess it was like here somewhere. I do have to shout out the big props to Disney for allowing a short, fat, whatever this guy is. You don't get short, fat stormtroopers, and he's not a stormtrooper, but he looks like some sort of a trooper thing. So big shout out for representation of short, fat. Love it. And anyway, like I see the sideways elevator gag. Okay. Anyway, so overall, I say, okay, this looks interesting. Disney, I'm going to give you a chance. I did not give you a chance with what was the one? I missed Obi-Wan Kenobi or whatever. And by the way, Obi-Wan is now bisexual or something, according to Disney publications. We didn't talk about that story either. But this looks good. So in addition to the forthcoming She-Hulk TV show that Deacon, I think we have to watch and review. on the air on some mornings. We have, after that show, we have a Star Wars show that we can watch and share our thoughts. But I'm a fan of Rogue One, so Disney, I'm giving you a chance with Andor. Let me down. I know you will. All right, that's all I got for this morning. Deacon, you got anything?
I'm good.
All right.
I was complaining there a minute ago about why in the world they use the same old actors all the time in all these different franchises, and it kind of went into a story that I posted. I don't remember if I posted it yesterday or the day before. We never talked about was voice actors. Is Hollywood going too far using all these dang celebrity voices all the time? And I am a voice actor, I guess you could say, kind of. And the voice acting gig for the longest time was a very elite circle. And if you think about it, these guys did many characters. Like, for example, because I'm fixing to play my little thing here, Howard Morris is a name that you might not recognize. That name, you would definitely recognize his voice because he did most of the voices for Hanna-Barbera, all those old cartoons, and he was Festus. No, not Festus. He was Ernest T. Bass Griffith. Remember, it's me, it's Ernest T. Howard Morris was that voice, and so there was a very small group that did many voices like that. And over the years, when they would make movies, they would add a couple of celebrity voices, maybe for the main one. But most of the other voices in the cartoons would go out to the voice actors that actually did the part. Well, fast forward to 2022, we've had 20 years of these cartoons that have become a lot more prevalent in movies because of the computers. And they will use, instead of using the gag of hiring one celebrity to push your movie, they'll have 15. And the celebrities have found out, the actors and actresses have found out that this is easy money for them. And so they go and they do this because, they don't have, they're standing there in their pajamas if they want to.
You're like 2-3 days in a booth or whatever, reading lines.
And I'm not saying it's easy work, because somebody says, I've had many people all the time say, you read? That's what you do, is read for a living? I'm like, you don't just read. There's many things that go into reading. And not everybody can read. So everybody can read, but not everybody can read as a presentation, And
hey, this audience knows that. They see me reading stories every day, sir. They know that I'm not very good at it.
But what I'm getting at is this, and this thing came up. It says, please bring back voice actors, stop celebrity voices. And I kind of agreed with this article. It was like, they've done this for years. Let's bring back these voice actors that are actually good. And for example, let me give you this. A group of voice actors got together because they were a bunch of D&D nerds. And they were like, let's play D&D and let's do the voices and let's record it and stream it or do whatever online. And that is now called Critical Role. And if you Google Critical Role, you will see this enormous multi-million-dollar freaking entertainment thing now that all started because a bunch of voice actors wanted to play D&D together and do their silly voices for their characters. And it's made hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, bring back these voice actors. People obviously want to watch no-name voice actors. Look at Critical Role.
What didn't work?
Nobody knew who those people were.
Last month, they swapped out Tim Allen, celebrity actor, but he's the voice of Buzz Lightyear for like 30 years or something, 20 years, and they swapped it out for Chris Evans and flop. Like one of the things about this is that you have to make, as an actor, you really got to make like a connection with the audience, especially if the only tool that you get to use is your voice. You better be able to really make that bond.
Right. And the only other bonus to this for other voice actors with Hollywood celebrities getting all these parts, the bonus for normal voice actors is, can you do an impersonation of Hollywood celebrity? So then you may get hired. And let me give you an example. We watched on Prime, they have Transylvania, I think it's 4. It's where Johnny gets turned into a monster and they have to get, well, the vampire in that is voiced, the first one was voiced by Adam Sandler. I don't know. I'm sure the second one was voiced by Adam Sandler. I don't know about the third one, but the fourth one is not voiced by Adam Sandler. And you wouldn't know that unless you watched the credits and saw that Drac is not Adam Sandler, because the person that's doing an impression of the Adam Sandler, and it's dead on. I've always been told in this industry that if you can do a perfect Mickey Mouse impersonation, that Disney will keep you on retainer. Because they always need Allwine. Wayne Allwine, does he still do Mickey Mouse? I don't know. I think he was the main one that did Mickey Mouse for years. I don't know if he still does it. His name was Wayne Allwine. And if you can do a perfect Mickey Mouse impersonation, that Disney will probably keep you on retainer, or they would like to know you. You know, because they need that voice.
You do that?
Mickey Mouse voice is everywhere. Mickey Mouse is not one that I've ever been able to do.
Okay.
My voice doesn't go up that high for that one. Yeah, no, no. I used to do a pretty good Kermit the Frog, and that was the only. I didn't doc to do a lot of impersonations. I had my own characters, but
yeah,
I don't know if I could do the Kermit the Frog. I can't do it.
Pretty good. It's not too bad. Well, you know what? Why don't we save that tomorrow? Let's try to get your good mic rig on.
Okay.
Tomorrow we'll get your good mic rig instead of your phone. And we'll still use this camera or whatever, and then the audience will be the audience that tunes in tomorrow, which is going to be our best show ever. Tomorrow's show, so be here tomorrow, 6:30 in the morning, the best show that we've ever done. And Deacon is going to have his pro mic rig set up. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know what is going to happen in the next 20 hours that's going to be more exciting than 6:30 in the morning tomorrow, when you can watch live on Twitter and YouTube. Your Two Dads. I'm JJW. That's Deacon. I just noticed that my name said your name for a minute there too. Like I have to I need to triple check. I don't know when it changed, but anyway, I'm JJ. That's Deacon. We're Your Two Dads. We're so glad you were here. We had our largest audience yet today watching live, and my little campaign of making goofy dad shorts continues later today and has been getting traction. So 12,000 impressions, 289 views. Well, so, you know, this is going to be amazing. Tomorrow is going to be amazing. Yeah. All right. So goodbye from here. Goodbye from Deacon, I think. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers. May your coffee be warm and the news not be too bad. And let's stay out of war with China today. Bye, everybody.